have our student startup market on March 12th. If you just want to put that in your calendar, just keep it in the back of your head as the weeks go on. It's a great event. Students take over Applebaum, and all of our small student businesses will be there. You can check out different levels on Applebaum floor and just see what our students are doing. So before we get started, I'd like to introduce our entrepreneur in residence. Her name is Annie McCurdy. Annie serves as Susquehanna's entrepreneur in residence. Her position is she mentors, guides, and challenges our students as they refine their business ideas. From shaping small business models to strengthening marketing strategies and navigating funding opportunities, Annie brings real-world experience and hands-on support to every venture she works with. With more than a decade of experience in marketing, brand strategy, and digital content, as the owner of True 47 Trading Company, Annie understands what it truly takes to build and sustain a business. But more importantly, she brings creativity, energy, and a genuine belief in her students' potential. Annie, thank you for the time, the mentorship, and the commitment you have poured into the Troutman Fund and to our student finalists. We're grateful for all that you do and empower the next generation of future business leaders. Annie's going to share a few things about the House of Hawks and a few words for our judges.
Hi, welcome. Okay, so before we begin tonight, I just want to briefly explain what our judges will be evaluating. Each finalist will be scored across several key areas using a 3-point system. Judges will be looking for a clear explanation of the problem that is being solved, a concise and compelling business solution, identification of the target market and its potential size, evidence of research, testing, or proof of concept, understanding of the business's competitors, a clear pricing model and signs of long-term sustainability for the business, and finally, how effectively the presenter communicates why someone should invest in their business. The finalist with the highest total score will be named the House of Hawks winner, and we will also choose a People's Choice Award winner, which you will all vote on tonight. So tonight you will see bold ideas, thoughtful strategy, and the hard work that goes into building something from the ground up. Each one of these entrepreneurs is coming to the competition at a different level, so I encourage you to open your mind and be receptive to their ideas. And without further ado, to get us started, please welcome our first finalist, Jonathan Ulipney.
Awesome. Good evening, everyone. My name is Jonathan Ulipney, like they just mentioned, and my business is Ulipney Lawn. And I hope to tell you a little bit about it, a little bit about where I want to take this business into the future, and hopefully you can just learn a little bit about cutting grass by the end of this presentation. So let me start by talking about the problem. I started cutting grass about 7 years ago, and when I started, it was nothing more than a passion project helping members of my community. But what I found out a couple of years ago was that I could turn this into a business. So what I realized is that there are a lot of people in my local community that either because they didn't have enough time, because they didn't have the proper equipment, or because they simply didn't want to cut their own grass. There was a wide target market for people that just needed somebody to help cut their grass. So an example story that I can share with you about this process was about 2 years ago. I was reached out to by a close friend who had just recently purchased a new home in the area. And she said to me, I do not have the time as a new homeowner, the equipment as a new homeowner to cut a lawn that is, quite frankly, hadn't been cut in a couple of months at that point and was out of control. She said, could you come help me? And my answer was yes, of course, that is what I am here to do. That is the problem that I am here to solve. So I went, I took care of her lawn, I helped her, and that is exactly the reason why I started this business. Like I mentioned, I'm helping people deal with a problem that they either don't want to cut their own grass or they need some help along the way. So what Ulipney Lawn does and what my business does is it provides quality lawn care at an affordable price for members of my community. When I go to a new homeowner, I typically will first get to know them. I'll give them a call, they'll be referred to, or they'll find me on Facebook, like a lot of homeowners do when they're looking for, some help with different things around the house. I talk to them, I'll give them an estimate, we'll agree on a price, and I can cut grass for them as soon as that day. Last year, I had somebody reach out to me that knew that I cut grass for somebody that lived right up the street for them. And they asked, could you come give me an estimate? I just need somebody to help me out with my lawn. And I said, of course, that's what I'm here to do. I cut grass. So I went, I found them, and what I did is I talked to them, I got to know them, I gave them that estimate, and I was able to cut grass for them right then and there. Because I am a sole proprietorship, because I'm able to offer a level of service that your quote-unquote neighborhood kid or a large industrial provider can't give the same level of service to, I'm able to break inroads with them and help them in ways that these companies can't do. Up on the board, I have that I offer constant feedback and communication. I provide flexible scheduling. What that means is that if somebody needs help with something, I'm a phone call away. If somebody needs something done the next day, oh, I have a party, could you come help me out? I'm a phone call or a text away. For a lot of people, without that steady communication with the person that's there to help them, they don't have that same level of control over their property. So, when it comes to target market, I live over the summer in my hometown of Tamaqua, Pennsylvania, so I'm working for people in Tamaqua. So that means there's about 8,000 homes in Tamaqua. I'm not working for 8,000 people. I'm going to make that very clear right now. But there's about 8,000 total homes in the area. There's 100 to 200 nonprofits and small businesses in the area, which means that there's a wide target market for people that need help cutting grass. Of course, I'm not going to be working for all of them, and of course, not everyone needs help with their lawn care. However, for the people that do, and there are quite a few people, I will say, probably a lot of you that own your own homes, that need help on a weekend, something like that. Those are the people that I'm trying to help and serve as a business owner. Now, I could stand up here and keep telling you about flexible communication and all this fun stuff, but this is a business panel, so I got to show you a couple of numbers. So, over the last 3 years, when I've been keeping careful books and managing all of this and helping to grow my business more successfully, I've had 46 unique clients. This means people that I cut grass for regularly. This means people that I do projects and other stuff for, which I'll get into in a minute. I have made just under $20,000 total dollars in gross income from these customers. And they have some pretty nice things to say. This is right off the Facebook page, so if you think I'm making them up, you can go check right after. They've been up there. I hope you read them, because I only have 5 minutes, so we got to keep on rolling. So I have 2 pricing models, and when I say I have 2 pricing models, there are 2 types of work that I do for clients and potential customers. One of them is regular lawn mowing and regular servicing. So, for example, if my friend Bryson out there owns a home, and he says, I need you to come cut my lawn on a regular basis because I'm a busy guy, I don't want to be doing that. I would understand, no problem. First, I would assess if he had a small, medium, or large size property. From there, I would assess if there were any other services he wanted to add on top of it, and then I would give him an estimate. If Bryson owned a small home in Selinsgrove, Pennsylvania, that may work out to about $40 to $50 for an initial price, but if he really wants nice crisp edges along the sidewalk, so lawn edging, that would be an additional $10, $15, and from there we would agree on the price, we would negotiate it, and then I'd be able to cut your grass that day, Bryson. That's pretty cool, and that's not something that everyone can do. For projects, this is things like mulching, rock placement, any type of large leaf removal, project redevelopment that is not occurring on a regular basis. This falls under the project level of pricing. Now, I just gave you the model estimate, but I will say that the difference that what sets us apart when it comes to giving estimates, communicating with clients, is that I'm just not rolling in every other day. I'm not the neighborhood kid with a lawnmower knocking on doors trying to cut grass for people. For a lot of homeowners, that may be great, and it might even cost a little bit less than the type of service I'm offering, but there's no way to keep in communication with that kid unless you get their number. And in which case, maybe that service won't hold true over a long period of time. Or if you want an industrial provider, those people may not be able to reach you as quickly as I am. So that's the target market that I'm trying to reach into with these pricing models. Like I said, this is a business presentation, so there's got to be numbers involved. So over the last 3 years, looking at income and expenses, I've been able to linearly grow the business, projecting great incomes and keeping expenses between 2024 and 2025 relatively consistent. Looking at income sources, the majority of money that I'm making off the business is regular income, coming in regular intervals from those consistent customers like Bryson. And if you look at the graph on the bottom, you can see, I think it does have a laser pointer. Yes. So there's consistent growth and consistent numbers there. Now, this is a Shark Tank-like presentation. So of course, I have to come here and ask for an investment from you fine judges. So what I'm asking is that I believe that as a business owner, I have demonstrated linear growth in my business. I believe that I have assessed the problems and given a great solution for homeowners in the Tamaqua area, and I want to help develop this business model and spread my business ideas right here to Selinsgrove, Pennsylvania. My idea is to create a satellite location right here this coming summer with your help and your investment. And from there, I'll be able to grow the business, I'll be able to recruit new employees, I'll be able to expand my marketing, and hopefully continue to grow my business. Thank you all for your time, and I welcome any questions from you.
I'll start. Great job. Great presentation. A little bit of humor, but also a lot of good facts. Do you have any employees?
Yes. So over the last 3 years, I've employed 2 different people. And a great example of when I've managed my employees was actually this last semester. In August, I left for a study abroad trip in the Netherlands, which meant that I had to sacrifice a lot of control over to one of my employees when I traveled abroad. However, I was still able to manage the business while trusting him to keep good communications with the clientele. I would keep the schedule, he would do the work, and then he would be compensated for that.
Awesome. And then, second question then, you showed really great business performance, which is awesome. Do you have a good sense of like, what's the average revenue you get from a job, like a remote job, and then what's the average cost that you spend to do that job?
Yeah, so I'm going to take that question and I'm actually going to bump it out. Maybe. It's on freeze. Could you unfreeze really quick? Maybe. Sorry, I should have prepared you. That's my bad. So, the short answer to the question is, let me give you an example, and let me put it in the context of bringing the satellite business right to Selinsgrove. So, looking at an average lawn, what I'm typically charging, depending on the price of the lawn. So if it was someone locally here in Selinsgrove, like our Bryson example, it'd be somewhere between $40 and $50. And then the pricing breakdown on where that money is going is actually right here. So about 30% goes to the operating expenses, 30% would go to payroll, 15% is reinvestment, and then 25% profit can be reinvested. That can be taken out as needed. And what I'm showing here is that for the satellite location that I'm proposing, even if I was just able to get 5 clients cutting for most of the weeks during the summer, spring, and fall, that would bring in about just short of $7,000 in income, and that money would then be devoted, as you see there, to operating expenses, payroll, reinvestment, and profit. So that's a long-winded way to answer your question.
Great job, John. Thank you. Question about, so obviously you're doing cutting, you're doing edging, you're saying, you're doing mulching as well, so you're saying.
Yeah.
So thinking if you're doing satellite, are the clients responsible of purchasing the mulch, or are you purchasing the mulch, and then would you have a location where you're able to store, keep that mulch at a safe location?
Yeah, that's a great question. So normally, the way that I try to schedule these is if there's a mulching job, or if there's a stone laying job, or something larger like that. What I try to do is, because I don't have a dedicated storage area, I'm coordinating with any employees that will be helping me with the job. I'm coordinating with the homeowner, and I'm coordinating with whoever is providing the material to coordinate when that material will be delivered, when we will be able to service it, so that I do not have to go and pick up the material and bring it to the property, and so that we can make sure that everything is cleared with the homeowner and dealing with an issue like that.
Great, thank you.
Honestly, these two kind of asked the question. The one question I do have is with the satellite operation. So are you expecting how many employees most likely for this? And then will they be the ones completely operating this? Or are you kind of planning on being in and out?
Yeah, that's a great question. So my intention is to be a fundamental part of the satellite operation here, which will mean commuting to Sealands Grove on a monthly or twice weekly, twice every week, you know what I'm trying to say. So the short answer is yes, I will still be involved. I would assume it would be somewhere between 1 to 2 employees operating every single week or every other week, depending on what the customer's needs were. And then I would stay in constant communication with the client. I would make sure that all scheduling was taken care of. If there was any larger projects that would bridge off of regular landscaping, that would also be things that I would address and deal with from the client.
One other last question for me. So I didn't see any mention of any of the investment going towards a scheduling software capability.
Yeah.
Do you think with the extra satellite location, you'll still be able to sort of manage that? I don't know how you manage it today. Is it a spreadsheet? Do you have a scheduling system? What do you do today? And how are you thinking that would change?
Yeah, so all scheduling I do by hand. And again, in a given summer or cutting season, I'm usually managing somewhere between 25 to 30 clients, which is a large number, yes, but it's a number that I consider managed by hand, keeping careful track with the clients, keeping a spreadsheet open or a calendar open for both me and both for any employees I will have. And again, the justification I have for that is I was able to do it while I was abroad. I was able to develop some of those managerial skills in kind of a global context, or at least dealing with problems that are associated with it. So if it works there, I think that that system could work for something like this. And at the same time, if it doesn't, I'm flexible. I'm able to change, I'm able to work with clients and really accommodate for their needs, because that's the biggest part of my solution, and that's how I differentiate.
My last question is more about sustainability. So you're obviously in college right now, so you go the summers. What kind of does this look like maybe 5 years down the road?
Yeah, that's a great question. And obviously, I keep saying this is a business presentation. I keep alluding to the fact that I'm not, in fact, a business major. I'm a political science and legal studies student, and I have a minor in management. But what I think that allows me to bring to the table is that I have skills far beyond just running a business. I have skills that I'm trying to develop by building an entrepreneurship business like that. In 5 years, I hope to be in law school, working at a law firm, and I would love to keep this business going. And if not, I hope to find somebody that shares my values, that I can pass this business down to, and continue serving the same type of people and offering the same type of solution I do now.
All right, thank you so much. So now we are going to be having Zoe come out, and he is going to be presenting his business.
Good evening. My name is Zoe, and I'm here to present Ziana's program to make the world a better place. I have noticed that few winter hats offer the ability to offer creative expression, especially for fashion individuals looking to express themselves in all elements of their clothes, literally from head to toe. I want to eliminate the issue of having to choose between style and warmth, as well as comfort over expression. This problem has provided Ziana's Village the opportunity to offer a clothing accessory that offers individual expression, as well as providing warmth and comfort. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you the AP Flow. Let's talk about warmth and comfort. The AP Flow is constructed out of plush throw material, allowing it to be super soft and light, but yet doing its job keeping you warm. The way the hat is constructed as well as its function, has elevated to a wearable art piece. The hat can be worn sideways, to the front, side, and back to the back. Now, we are not just a clothing brand. We are a social conscious brand. Did you know 2 out of 10 kids ages 6 to 11 don't get to attend elementary school in Haiti? When you sum that up, that's 100,000 kids that don't get the same opportunity of half of you sitting in this room. I was one of those kids. Zianes Valère has made it the Equiforce mission to donate 10% of its profit to an orphanage in Haiti called Aibobo. I'm looking to target 18 to 22 years old, so the Gen Z segment of the market. Here at Zianes Valère, we believe in diversity as well as inclusivity. So the hat is made for both genders. The location I'm looking to target this to are urban areas as well as creative college towns. What my consumers do? Well, they're college students, they're athletes, they're emerging creatives, content creators, stylists, and last but not least, young entrepreneurs like me. Over winter break, having perfected the hats, the Equiflow has generated $565 in revenue. And up here are an example of notes that I get from customers saying, I think the hats are really cool, I want more. P.S. I sleep in mine. Or a TikTok video being made of the product being unboxed and talking about the quality of it. And many more examples. Through my research, I found that there's 58 hat companies in this market. And my 2 competitors I chose to focus on the top, Apostle Way Clothing offered the bundle. It is marked up at $45, plus a $10 shipping. Another competitor I chose to focus on is US Sheepskin Market. It offers a hat that costs $99 with shipping included. What gives me the competitive advantage over these 2 companies is that my hat is much more affordable, free shipping, and I offer a customizable offer to my consumers. I have marked up the Equiflow to $50, which is right in line with industry standards. Now, let's break down the pricing per hat. $5 goes towards material, $8 for shipping to get the material, $10 for labor, and $2 donation to Aibobo. So in total, it cost me $25 to make this, bringing in a 50% profit margin. Why is ZNS a good investment? We don't just make beanies, we make wearable art that holds foundation, meaning, as well as memory. Winning this $1,000 would allow Zianes Valère to get a website to appeal to a broader market. Also, it would allow the Equiflow to continue on the mission that it was created for, to make the world a better place, starting with Aibobo. Thank you. Is there any questions?
Great presentation. So awesome job. So my first question is getting at the price point. So what made you land on $50? And you walked through the expense there, and is that $50 based on competitors out there? What do you think you can get based on research?
I think because I'm in college here, obviously, so I have a market to. I price it at an affordable price where college students can afford it, but more to like the middle class. So that's what I'm looking at.
And you said you offer customization, so I assume like color, design, style.
Yes.
Do you charge extra for that, or is that $50 regardless of whether you customize it or it's just?
Yeah, $50 more to see if you customize it or not.
Great job. How long does it take you to make one of these?
So now it's about averaging about half hour.
Half hour? Where do you get your raw materials from?
I'll order some on the TikTok shop. I'll go to Target or Walmart to get fabric as well.
Great job. Are you thinking about any product expansions? I know that you're a fashion company, so is this just like one of your products that you're hoping to have? And have you thought of that?
Yeah, I have. So with the Icky Flow, I used the same material to make scarves along with it. But this was just my first product that I invented to offer the public. But yeah, I have more stuff in the bag. I'm also working on a bag with the same material, so just to give a variety of the Icky Flow.
Yeah, absolutely. And then have you thought about any like other sustainably sourced material? I know that that's becoming a big trend, especially in your target audience.
Yeah. So for sustainability, I'm looking at going thrifting for different material to make the light, especially in the summertime. Not everybody's gonna want a fuzzy hat in the summertime. So looking at like linen or satin, just to make it so that I will invest into thrifting to get those materials so I can make the light a little lighter in the summertime.
This might surprise people, I'm not Gen Z. What inspired you for that type of style?
My mentor, when I wanted to start a clothing brand, and I wanted to start with bags, and that's what I was running with. He's like, a lot of brands have blown up form hats, and it's easy. Like, you look at me, you see it, you're gonna react to it. And so, unfortunately, one of my friends had fallen into coma during that time, and so I'm like, I want to design a hat just to show him that I'm doing something while he's stuck where he's at. So that's how the hat came about to be. When I was sitting in my dorm, I just put pen to paper. I didn't know what it was going to look like. I just knew I wanted to create something that was different and not just like a regular beanie. And that's how I went about it.
Great. And the donations going to Haiti. How do they get those funds?
So my best friend mom, she actually is part of the organization. So let's say monthly, I count up my profit from the hats, and that portion I'll send her the money, and she connects it to the people that are actually there taking care of the kids, and that's how they'll get the fund.
Thank you.
Maybe one last question for you. So how do you market it today, and how are you thinking going forward? I know you talked about running a website. What are some of the other things you were thinking about using money for?
So far, over winter break, I was sewing on TikTok Live, and that's how I got a lot of my orders, people stopping in and watching the live, but also sending out to models to show how to wear the hat and stuff, and I've done photo shoot. Obviously, you saw some of the photos. That was like my first photo shoot I had, so just collaborating with different creatives and kids on campus wearing it, word through mouth, everything like that.
All right, let's move on.
Great job.
Hi everyone, my name is Patricia Onoja and the name of my business is Crave. So Crave is basically a food experience that lets people explore different flavors from around the world, offering affordable portions so you can try them and spend less and also never get bored of trying flavors. Let's start with the problem Crave is trying to solve. So let's be honest, a lot of food options are repetitive, overpriced, and just boring. They fill you up, but they don't spark any real excitement. So trying new flavors usually means committing to a full meal, which can be expensive, time-consuming, and risky, especially if you don't end up liking it. So for example, if someone wants to try a new recipe like beef stir fry, to get it, if you're someone that doesn't shop in bulk, and you want to try to eat stir fry, you have to get like gochujang sauce, sesame oil, vegetable oil, meat, everything. So Crave, in order to like reduce that, Crave is trying to do it for you, so you don't have to do it, because not everyone is like good in the kitchen, because you might end up trying bad, especially if you buy all the ingredients. Yeah. People want access to like new foods without the stress, waste, or high cost, which is where Crave comes in. And also, very funny but fun fact, the only reason I started really like going to the kitchen was because my dad told me that if I don't know how to cook, no one's gonna marry me. So I was like, bet, I ran, and I started trying like every new recipe I saw. So yeah. The solution. This is where Crave comes in. Crave offers handcrafted food inspired by cultural flavors from around the world. So like I'm an international student, so I like when I'm traveling and I go to like airports, I always get to try new stuff. So instead of committing to full meals or like expensive ingredients, customers can enjoy small, thoughtfully made portions that satisfy their curiosity and cravings. Like buttery meat pies to brookies, to like samosas, to meat pie empanadas. Crave turns everyday eating into an experience that feels intentional, fun, and accessible. So here are some of the things I made. I made my own twist of chipotle balls, pepper chicken. If you can't tolerate spice, you can't really eat that because it's really spicy. Cookies, meat pies, shawarmas, tacos, mac and cheese, butter chicken. And these are some things you can expect from Crave. So I know you're wondering who is Crave for. Yeah. To understand Crave's ideal customer, meet Naledi. So this is Naledi. Naledi is also an international student like me. She's always traveling and she has a refined palate. So, but when she comes to campus, her food options are limited and very bland. So Crave is for people like Naledi, especially members of the international community, but also for anyone who enjoys discovering new flavors and trying something new. So there are approximately 5,000 enrolled students are on Susquehanna, and 1% of them are international, and 8 to 9% are interested in this kind of food. So that means like roughly 500 students at SU who have similar attributes to Naledi. Yeah, so therefore they're potential Crave customers. This is what makes Crave different. So what truly sets Crave apart is the personal connection. So I tested my ideas, recipes with friends, and I listened to feedback, and I used this feedback to improve every recipe. And Crave grows by listening and evolving with its customers. For example, this is Haitian spaghetti, and here you can see this is the normal one, and then this is the vegetarian. But to like include people, I made this one without meat or any like meaty stuff. So basically the difference between this is that this has turkey sausage and chicken stock, and this doesn't have any, because like some people have like religious preferences, and like not all the food in America is like halal, so they can't really eat it. Yeah. So I tried to like make everyone feel included. Yeah. Now let's talk numbers. So Crave is supposed to stay affordable while also remaining profitable. So it costs about 71 cents to make and package a cookie because an ingredients plus packaging costs, the total cost is 71 cents. So the selling price for a cookie would be like $3, and I'm gonna get like $2.29 profit from that. So let's say I'm selling a dozen cookies. It's gonna cost $8.52 to make that, and then I'm gonna sell it for about $36, and my profit on that is gonna be $27.48. Yeah, so this pricing kind of supports sustainability while keeping products accessible to everyone and anyone, basically. So I was gonna, this is like a rough menu, just it's not like a final menu. So we can see, I have things from like different countries. So we have like sweet, savory, and drinks, puff-puff. We have brownies, cinnamon rolls, beignets, cookies, and a classic banana bread. And then Troutman Fund, chocolate latte. This is just a rough menu, not final thing. But let's move on. So these are the marketing strategies and delivery I thought about. I was thinking pop-up tables in high traffic areas such as Lower Deck, partnership with student orgs like BSU, ISA, IAS, and delivery pre-orders with scheduled pickup. So basically, if you order something, you can come pick it up, or I can bring it to you. That's don't drop off. And I try to like limit the orders, so like I only make food for the amount of people that order, so it can be sustainable. Yeah, that makes sense. And finally, why Crave? Why me? Why now? This is why Crave is worth investing in. Crave is more than just food. It's an experience, and it's built around care, culture, and flavor. I love making people happy with food. Yeah, I make banana bread for my friends every weekend, and I cook for them. And I spend countless hours testing my recipes with my friends, family, and Crave is ready to launch today, but in order to do that, I need support from the Hawks. And yeah, Crave is about making food special for everyone. Thank you.
Great job. Awesome presentation. So first question for me is, how do you approach the menu? Does the menu change? Is it always
Yeah,
the same? How often does it change? Just help me understand that a little bit better.
So it changes based on like seasonal. So like, let's say now it's winter, I can tend to put like soup on it, or like more spicy hot stuff since it's cold outside. Yeah. And then let's say in summer, I can change the drinks to like smoothies because it's hot outside. Yeah.
And then how do you manage the ingredients and the materials needed? So part of your mission is smaller, customized, someone wants something, you can get it to them kind of thing. How do you manage that though? If I suddenly decide I want to order something from that menu, but I only want a small piece of it, not a really big dish, and no one else wants that thing, how do you manage all the ingredient variations?
I can give you a sample to try, and then if you like it, so samples.
Gotcha. Okay.
Great job. Say there's a 40-year-old man who only eats dinosaur chicken nuggets and pizza. I didn't say it was me. But I want to expand my palate. How would you kind of rope me into wanting to try these new different flavors and different things?
Okay, so I feel like I'm gonna start you off with like easy stuff, not too spicy, not like, let's say samosas. Yeah. I can make you the other version of the Haitian spaghetti, where it's not really spicy, doesn't have a lot, it's just simple. So I'm gonna start out with the simple stuff.
My office is 205 things. You talked about delivery.
Yeah.
So are those students or people who are volunteering? Is it you specifically? Who could be the ones who would be delivering on campus food?
It can be me. I can drop it off. I can ask my friends for help. Depends.
I just ate and now I'm starving. So for taking orders right now, how do you kind of manage that? Like if you have 5 orders, how do you manage what ingredients you need and like when they have to go and when they get delivered and all that?
So I go to the grocery store, so I know myself. But to manage orders, we're gonna have a form for now. And actually, someone just ordered lunch, like cheesecake today. Yeah. So how I did it, I just asked him what kind he wanted. He said strawberry and biscuit, and he ordered 50. So I wrote like what I need. So I'm gonna go to the store to get that. Yeah. And what was your question again?
Just kind of how you're managing like the orders that you take in.
I feel like the form for now. Or you can like if you know it's me, you can text me, like because you texted me. So, yeah.
And then how do you see this kind of progressing like after school? I know right now your target is like students and you're doing like dorm delivery, which is amazing. But post school, do you kind of see this going anywhere else?
Probably. I was gonna do more like the mini bakery, cute bakery. So yeah.
Thank you.
Maybe just last question for me. So how do you market, how do people find out about this today? And how are you thinking that will change in the future or maybe it wouldn't change? How does it happen?
Okay, so for now I have an Instagram, and so I'm just gonna be posting like stuff I have made, and then if you're interested, just tell me. But I'm gonna make business cards soon, as I need your help. So yeah.
All right, let's give it one more round of applause. And next, we are going to have Lexi come up.
Good evening. Thank you all so much for your time, and a special thank you to everyone that made tonight and this opportunity possible for me. So I want to start off by saying, excuse me. My name is Alexis Kane, and I am the founder of Elevate, an all-female fitness brand. The reason I started this brand wasn't just to become a trainer. It was because of my own personal fitness journey. Growing up, I was always told I was too skinny, which made me incredibly self-conscious. I began to fall in love with the gym, and it became an outlet for me. I gained confidence both physically and mentally. This is what made me realize that if I can change just one woman or one young girl's life by giving them that same outlet, that I've already won. So the problem here is that many females find traditional gyms to be intimidating, leading to gym anxiety or a low self-esteem. There is a lack of specialized supportive environments that combine both strength training and confidence building. This is the gap that Elevate fills. So Elevate is an all-female fitness brand centered on encouragement, motivation, support, and building confidence. To talk to you a little bit about the services that I offer, first off, we have our women's HIIT classes. These are every Sunday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. They're $10 a session, and they're 45-minute sessions. These sessions are for women of all age ranges and all fitness levels. Next, we have our focus strength sessions. These are every Thursday evening. They're $15 a session, and they're capped at 8 to 9 women per session just because we're in a small weight room lifting together, building the courage, learning how to use equipment properly. Moving on, we have our newly launched Girls Strength and Confidence program, tonight being our 4th week of that. This is specifically for girls who want to build confidence both in and out of the gym and also learn how to use equipment properly, learn proper form, etc., specifically for the ages of 8 to 15. In the bottom left, I have a journal here. We recently started journaling in class, just talking about some things we want to improve on, talking about how we feel at the beginning of class, and then ending with how we feel at the end of class. And then finally, I offer private sessions. These are 40-minute sessions. They're 45-minute sessions, $40 per session, and these are custom to you personally, what your goals are and what your abilities are. And then Elevate isn't just a gym, it's a safe haven, so I've had the opportunity to hear all different types of people's fitness journeys and their accomplishments. Whether that was someone being able to finally feel confident in their own skin, being able to wear those jeans from 10 years ago, or something as small as finally being able to smile genuinely when taking pictures with other people. The difference is that Elevate prioritizes an uplifting community where both women and young girls can chase their individual goals but together. So just to show you a little bit more of Elevate, the top right is our room that we do our HIIT sessions in. The top left corner and bottom right corner are the girls and myself. On the center, we've been working on some confidence boards, so this is just an example of one girl who wanted to be involved in this. And then the bottom left corner is the Elevate gear, which you can also see on the table. The reason being for the Elevate gear is I wanted to increase revenue without having to up the prices for my current clients. And then target market and opportunity. So the market need for Elevate is clear. Elevate is located in Mount Carmel, Pennsylvania, which is about 45 minutes from Susquehanna. To give you a little bit of an idea, Northumberland County alone has around 25,000 to 30,000 women from the ages of 25 to 65. Elevate has been able to expand from this county and pull both women and young girls from surrounding counties as well. So we're seeking local women of all fitness levels and young girls wanting to learn proper form and gain confidence. So validation and competition. Combined, there are 5 reoccurring paid classes per week. We've been able to have consistent attendance even after me coming back from my 5-week study abroad, which was really nice to see. And then this has all been growing without paid advertising. So all the growth from Elevate is driven by social media posts, word of mouth, and then community. Although alternative customers do have traditional gyms and youth sports or activity programs, Elevate is different because it's women only, females only, and a confidence-first environment. So just to show you a little bit about what some of the social media posts look like and reposts, in the top right corner we have one of our Elevate ladies reposting and saying, "What motivates you? Remembering how I used to feel, #Elevate." The second one says, "Tonight's class was a killer, but we all pushed through. So happy to work out with such an amazing group of girls." And then let's talk numbers. So since launching Elevate in March of 2025, we've brought in a gross revenue of approximately $16,000 and a net revenue of approximately $7,000. So to break that down for you, our women's fitness program brings in around $420 weekly, and our newly launched girls program brings in about $200 weekly. In the right of the screen here, you can see one of the posts that goes on the social media. So this week at Elevate. These posts showcase how much a class is, what time the class is, and what day the class is. So why Elevate? You would be investing in confidence, community, and the future of female fitness. The proof of concept, Elevate will be celebrating our 1-year anniversary here in March. The direct impact, this $1,000 funding would provide us to celebrate and retain current members. It would allow me to secure a domain and create a web page for marketing purposes, and new equipment, specifically for the Girls Strength and Confidence program to expand the capacity. So we've been filling out all women and girls classes with 20 girls and 20 women. So it would be really, really helpful to be able to expand and gain more equipment. The vision is scaling the confidence program to reach more local schools and young girls as well. Thank you for your time. Any questions?
Great job.
Thank you.
Very impressive business. Are you teaching all the classes? Do you have anyone that works for you that teaches any classes?
It's just me.
Just you? Are you thinking you would want to change that, or do you think you want to keep teaching all these classes as you kind of keep moving into the next chapter?
Yeah, so I'm not opposed to expanding the business, but I love being able to do it. I commute to school, so I'm home all the time, and it's really nice to be able to do things my way, which I found is really nice. But no, I'm not opposed to expanding the business.
And that was one of my second questions. So it sounds like you commute, so you're able to run the classes then in the evenings and weekends and stuff around your school schedule.
Yes, correct.
And then, second question is, where do you you rent a gym space?
Yes, so I do rent the gym space. There's a smaller space. This is located in the Coleridge Sports Complex, small area, but there is a separate room. It's the boxing room. That's where I run my Elevate classes in.
Awesome job, great job.
Thank you.
So, dealing with young kids, are you certified? Do you have background checks and everything?
Yes, thankfully, due to the Troutman Fund, I was able to get all my certifications through the ISSA training.
Awesome. Love the journal idea. That's great.
Thank you.
Do they do like a pre-type of conversation beforehand and a post kind of reflection of what they went through? Or
Yes, so that's exactly what we do. At the beginning of class, we talk about how we're feeling before. We write the date, what movements we focus on, whether it's upper body or lower body, and then they say how they're feeling after class.
That's awesome. And you saying that you right now are doing a solo, which is cool, it's great. I know capacity, you said about 8 to 9-ish people per class because of the venue. If you had a larger venue, unless I misheard that part, if you had a larger venue, would you do more people?
Yeah, so I should have been more clear. So these, let me just show you really quickly. This room right here is where I run the specific strength training sessions with the weight equipment on Thursdays. That's capped at 8 to 9 ladies. But these sessions, we have around 20 women.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
See what I call boxing.
Yeah, yes.
This made my heart so happy.
Thank you.
The other judges kind of asked my questions, but I'm going to ask the same thing that I kind of have been asking, is just where do you see this going in the future, and would you ever want to open your own place? Is that kind of like the goal, or are you just hoping to expand where you are?
I think for me, the end goal would definitely be to upscale and have my own place. I never would have started this if it weren't for Annie. So big thank you to Annie. But I would love to upscale and have a bigger business, my own business, not have to rent. But right now it's just what's ideal for me.
Just two last questions for me. So on the revenue page, by the way, super impressive. I mean, you're generating $7,000
Thank you.
profit. I mean, that's really good profit margin. Is that, what time frame is that over? Is that like the last year?
So in March, it will be a year total. So this is from March 2nd of 2025.
Wow, so this is your first year of operation.
Yes.
Wow, very impressive.
Thank you.
And do you, because of the space constraints, and I know some of this would help buy some additional equipment, how much growth do you think there is on that number based on the current setup you have in terms of your time and the facility's time? It sounds like you still think there's more room to grow and get more people engaged.
Yeah, so for me, I would say like the growth is unlimited. For my girls' classes, I don't have a ton of dumbbells. I mean, dumbbells are extremely expensive. Like for my ladies, I invested a lot in 5 to 10 pound dumbbells. These younger girls can't use 5 to 10 pound dumbbells. So even just the 2 pound dumbbells, they're around $10 a set. So I think just expanding with the dumbbells first, so that way every girl can have their own equipment coming to class would be amazing. So that's the idea for that. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Weis.
Thank you.
And last but not least, we are going to have Jake coming up to present.
Ready? Good evening, everybody. I'm Jacob Rodkey. My business is Z-Strike Lures. And tonight, I'll be introducing to you the interface that will change the fishing industry. So Z-Strike currently hand paints all of our lures. Everything is designed by myself. I sell a lot at local events like outdoor shows, fairs, things like that. And everything's pre-made. And we do a little bit of custom, but nothing on the scale that I'm going to get into here in a second. All right? So we operate only months through May through August, which is really important to know because that's prime fishing season. The other months I'm here. So, all right. I started painting in 2019, but I established the business in 2023. All right? As you can see, last year was, or this past summer was the most successful year yet, which was really exciting. However, I still see a huge gap in the market, and I still see a high potential for growth. All right, there's just straight up a lack of technology within the industry. There's no use of taking advantage of what customers really want, which is customization. They want preferences. They buy lures from Walmart, and then they take nail polish to it, and they ask me to modify it for them. So we're going to take advantage of that. And it's important to note that exclusivity is a need in this industry. Recreational fishermen, and not even competing, are coming to me saying, hey, can you replicate this design, but do me a favor, don't tell anybody about it, because it actually works, which is fun. All right, so what Z-Strike could be, we could be selling lures for $12 currently, moving up to $40, and customization justifies that price change. All right, so a lot higher profit potential. We're going to move from a locally recognized brand to a professionally recognized brand. All right, I consulted with a number of people that are in this industry, semi-professionals, content creators, and a lot of them say the same thing. Jake, when we know a lure works, and they'd be designing it, so when we know a lure works, we don't want one, we want multiple, because things happen to it, people lose it, and at that rate, you can start to discount prices and things like that. All right, so ultimately, we're going to be hand painting their visions at scale. All right, so we're going to be going from $12 lure sold at a profit margin of roughly $8, right? Huge profit margin jump there. It's important to know that painting one lure versus four is pretty much the same time. We're talking seconds in difference, just because of how convenient it is to with an airbrush, right? Rather than the longest part about it is taking the paint out of the airbrush. All right, so how are we going to fill this gap within the market? We're going to develop an interface that allows customers to actually create the lure themselves. All right, we want it to be very intuitive and fully customizable to exactly what they want. So this is kind of a little demo, very simplistic, but they come in, select the body, drag and drop designs. I want to incorporate AI into this somehow. I have a couple different ideas for how I want to do it. I'm looking into some app, developers like Base44, which integrates AI at a really high level. And the whole thing is to make it really intuitive. So, all right, so who's going to be using this, right? Professional fishermen. All right, they're the ones that are going to be competing. Semi-professional fishermen are going to be competing, content creators, and recreational fishermen too. But the target market is the people that are making money from winning tournaments. So there's an incentive to get exactly what they want out of the lure. All right? And just to bring validity here, some people out of that actual target market that I've consulted with, right? To keep in mind is if the lure works, people will pay whatever. Right? That's encouraging. Another thing, this interface is a great idea. As far as I know, nothing out there like it, which is really cool. Another one, this guy isn't even a semi-pro. He doesn't even fish competitively. He just has about 42K on Instagram, and he's like, dude, I'll pay $80. Competitors. So wholesalers, no customization. They just chase trends, and they just, try and produce bulk things of whatever customers, might tell them they want. Right? The custom lures like slick baits, dark corner crankbaits, like on Etsy and TikTok Shop, kind of what Z-Strike has done in the past. A little bit of customization, but they remain within the local market, and nothing is scalable whenever you're kind of doing what they're doing currently. All right, and ultimately, if this app comes into fruition, that gap will be filled. And when Z-Strike accomplishes this, it's kind of cool. The customers basically design their own product. We just kind of execute it, which is really neat. And they're going to inevitably feel really connected to the product because of that. and Z-Strike will ultimately ascend to the next level. I think a lot of competitive fishermen are going to gain an edge in the sport because we're going to be able to deliver exactly what they need to help win their tournaments. All right. And invest in the future. Okay, I'd love for the investment here to be able to breathe life and kind of kickstart this project. And I'd love for you Hawks to be a part of this project here. So, are you ready to invest?
Awesome job. I want to cover questions. I want to start at the beginning. So, what drove this huge jump in revenue from 24 to last year? From 1,800 or 700 to 10,000. What was it? Just how did that happen?
Yeah, effort. So a lot of, I was like, you know what? Maybe I should start trying a little bit because I wasn't really doing any marketing. I didn't really kind of, people just knew I was painting lures and then they'd come to me, hey, can you make me 10 of this? Or like, hey, can you kind of, are you going to be at the fair again this year? And I'm like, well, I guess if you want me to. And but then this past summer, I was like, I kind of want to be my own boss. And that was really cool. So I decided not to apply anywhere and just run a business solely. One of the cool things that helped profits soar this summer was I had 2 employees, which was
Okay, that was one of my next questions. Was you had any employees or were you doing it all yourself? So.
yeah, and they weren't really artistic, but we made it work, which was
I was asking, they were painting or you were having to do other tasks?
yeah, they were doing base coats and
Okay.
stuff.
Gotcha.
That was the extent.
And was I reading that right? So today at $12 price point, you make about 60+% in profit margin. So in going forward, you're not expecting your cost to significantly increase from the customization. You're just going to be able to price higher because you're giving them more flexibility what to choose.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and that's kind of the thing. Annie kind of pointed this out to me. It was like, she asked me, how long do you take to paint these lures? I was like, really, 1 versus 4 is like not any different.
Because all the setup and the takedown, that's the expensive part. Once you
Yeah.
get the paints and the stuff set up, it sounds like it's 1, 5, 10, 50, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people have suggested that to me. They're like, dude, you gotta like stick with a couple designs and like mass produce it. Because I was like, one here, oh, this looks cool, paint this a little bit. And it really took a lot of time whenever I would do that kind of stuff. So,
Right here.
Awesome job.
thank you.
What's the biggest fish you caught on those?
What's the biggest fish I can have? Let's see. It's a 20, I think it was 21 or 22 inch smallmouth, which I do a lot of river fishing, and if you're familiar with your smallmouth, like, that's not too bad. I do a lot of, so, yeah, that was probably the biggest fish.
It's awesome.
Thanks.
I'm a not semi-pro or closely semi-pro fisherman, so this is awesome to see. Interested to see the type of designs that you have. What made you come up with specific types of designs you're going to put on these lures?
Okay, so yeah, like you're asking kind of what I do currently, like with just my designs. Yeah. I'm an artsy guy, so whatever looks cool, but I do know there are certain patterns that people always come up to me. Like whenever I'm selling at these events, they're like, dude, you need more orange bellies, you need more orange on the fins, you need like a red tail, and eventually, after I've been doing it for like 8 years now, you hear a lot of opinions, so I try and keep customers happy with, that's kind of where the colors come from, but I like to have my own splash.
That's awesome. I'm more of a saltwater fisherman.
Oh yeah, that's a totally different animal.
Is that something one day that you might think of possibly moving from also keeping freshwater lures, but maybe expanding to look at saltwater type of lures?
Yeah, well if this app helps me, it gives me enough money to expand into a different, that's almost like an entirely new industry, because you're looking at boats that are like necessary for that type of sport, so, yeah.
Favorite? It's awesome favorite. Thanks.
This is very cool.
So there's a manufacturer called Peaky Lure, and they sell them at great prices. I consult with a lot of people because I always tell them, like, hey, if my loan breaks, I'm replacing it for free. Like, this is a growth period, so I don't want customers to be unhappy. So PQ Lure is it's a Chinese manufacturer that produces the products, right? Blank. Come over, and a lot of the people I talk to, they're like, dude, this is comparable quality to like top end lures like Megabass and things like that, which is really nice to hear. It all comes down to, like, this is gonna sound nerdy for like what I'm doing, but the clear coat, that's what like protects everything. And I use a pretty nice clear coat, which is expensive, but it's worth it. Keeps everything. Yeah.
And then you've mentioned fairs and stuff. How many of those like have you done? Where do you think you've grown from?
Yeah, I try to do like 3 during May through August. I've grown. Sorry, can you ask the last part of your question?
Yeah, it's like, what do you think you've learned? Because you mentioned that people come up and like, tell you feedback. What do you feel like you've learned from those?
You can't please everybody whenever you're doing what I do, but with this, you can, because it's their own thing, right? But yeah, you can't really please everybody. Fishermen are so picky and they think they know everything. But really, it's really funny whenever you have somebody come up who's fishing the same spot, tells you one thing works, and I'm like, dude, I'm fishing there, and that is not working. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. So, but yeah, that's probably the biggest thing I learned is customers see things differently than other customers. So everybody has strong opinions.
Especially with fish.
Yeah, the fish.
Everyone has a fish story, right?
Oh.
Last question for me. So, cool prototype of the website and kind of the customization piece. So, how did you find that? Is that like an actual thing that's kind of built today in Stoneworks, or this is sort of just more of an idea of what you want to do?
Yeah, I just designed that Canva, but that was like more of like a.
Very cool.
Thank you. Yeah, that was like more of just a demo to help
Visualize it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's still very cool.
But like I said, I want to make it very intuitive, easy for people to use.
Yeah. Great job.
All right, I know you guys were just clapping, but can we give one more big round of applause? Now, the judges are going to have around 10 minutes to go into that room and deliberate and discuss what they just saw. While they're doing that, you, the audience, will have a chance to win $25 if you place in first, second, third, or runner-up in a Kahoot about our entrepreneurship program. Because why not? We're here, we're learning about entrepreneurs, we're learning about our program, and so grab your phones, get ready, and the Kahoot will be up in just a minute.
Let's just like help each other. Like circling back to what we talked about no, this makes me ask. Just like this thing of people doing this. Also, I saw something. Was it really recent? Yeah, it was just like a Thank you. Oh yeah, I will. See ya. Very nice.
Great, ladies and gentlemen, our judges have finished deliberating. And before we announce our official winner, I would just like to share a few words about our judges. So first, we have Jameson Troutman. He graduated in '02 here at Susquehanna University. He is a managing director at JPMorgan Chase within consumer and community banking. Leading product for the multi-billion-dollar Chase Small Business Organization. Outside work, Jameson serves on the Sigmund Weis School Business Advisory Council, volunteers with his local church, and sits on the board of the Adam Spencer Foundation. He lives outside Philadelphia with his wife Jen and their 2 children and pets, and he enjoys traveling, golfing, and college football, and landscaping projects. Unfortunately, his wife could not be here, but she was our other judge, and we'll just give her a shout out. Her name is Jennifer Edgar, and she also graduated in '02. Next, we have Frank, I'm sorry if I butchered this, Korpachik.
Sure.
Okay. That works. I can never pronounce it. So Frank has served at Susquehanna University as the Director of Leadership and Engagement since October 2022. He supports student leadership development, campus involvement, and initiatives that foster connection and belonging. Previously, he worked for the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Department at Geisinger School of Medicine and serves as a lead volunteer coordinator for disaster relief efforts. He also held senior leadership roles in higher education. Frank is driven by passion for empowering students, building inclusive communities, and creating meaningful leadership experiences. And lastly, we have Sarah Bauer. She's a graduate of this past year, 2025, and she earned her degree in management and entrepreneurship. She currently serves as the downtown manager for Sunbury Revitalization Corporation, where she works with local entrepreneurs to foster a vibrant downtown and support small businesses. She enjoys connecting Susquehanna students with the neighboring community, creating opportunities for collaboration and real-world experience. Personally, she has been working on rebranding her senior capstone hat business, formerly Red Threads, and now known as Earthly Halos. Now, without further ado, I'm going to be announcing our House of Hawks winner. And let's just give a little drum roll. Let's QR code and vote for our last winner. All right, the votes are in. And our People's Choice winner is Jacob Rodriguez. One more thing to applaud for, because a few things kind of got switched around, and all of our participants from House of Hawks will be receiving $250 for their efforts and their participation. So let's give tonight, we are just going to hear a few words from Jason Troutman, the amazing person who has funded everything.
Awesome. Well, first of all of you guys did an awesome job. So we made the game time decision that no one should walk away from this without anything from their business. So we increased the People's Choice to 500, not 250, and we want to make sure you guys each get 250 as well. You did all a great job. Can we give a round of applause for thank you all for coming out and supporting all of them. Thank you for all the work and energy and focus you have on your business. The passion is awesome. You saw it come through on stage. I enjoy it. I know my fellow friends enjoy kind of being part of that. So it was a hard decision. We had a lot of debate in the back. You guys all did a great job with the business. I have no doubt that you guys are all going to be successful moving forward. And that's all the last thing I just really want to say. That's what we're really focused on. When we sort of, my wife and Jen couldn't be here tonight, but when we set this fund up, it was to help people like you, right? People have a passion and interest, something creative that sparks an interest, and you want to actually take action against it. And that's kind of what the small business spirit is. And you guys live it every day, and we're super proud to be able to be a small part of that journey. And like I said, I fully expect you guys are all going to go on to do amazing things, whether it's continuing your small business or whether you get into something different and come back to later. But I have no doubt that'll be the case. And hopefully all of you in the room that are entrepreneurs or small business owners, or your family, or your aunt, or your uncle, or grandparents or small business owners, just a big thank you, because it is really what powers all of us and what we do here every day. So again, thank you for coming out. Congrats everybody, and have a good night.
I wasn't responding until one of you guys said something.
pass it on.